Hey now, hey now.
She goes for her
Hey
vocals.
now. I don't know where that song came from, but it's in my head.
We got a song intro today.
Oh, are you recording?
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive, everyone.
Welcome. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello. We're
Welcome
back.
with another episode.
We're glad you all here with us today. We have a very sweet topic to talk about.
Yes, we
And
do.
our girl Naya is gonna school us all on it.
I ain't schooling nobody on
School of rocks.
School of hard knocks. That's where
She's
y'all
gonna
at
be
right
throwing
now.
some thriving points at us.
We gonna have a conversation. I'm here to learn just like everybody else.
Preach, child, preach.
That's right.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Shut Up and Thrive, the podcast that will inspire you to live your best life.
3 best friends who have been growing, motivating, and inspiring each other.
I'm Vanilla. I bring the fun.
And this is Claudia, the passionate one.
And your girl Nair, sprinkling in the creativity.
When you listen to Shut Up and Thrive, it will remind you of your chats with your own BFFs.
Join in every week as we discuss all the things that make you want to shut up and thrive.
So, are you ready?
Let's get into the conversation.
Woo woo. So anyways, welcome, grand afternoon. So happy to have everybody here. We're going to be talking today about masculine and feminine energy.
Woo woo!
So, okay, how do we start this?
We could probably start by a quick description of what it really means and what it doesn't mean, masculine energy. Is it a hockey man who walks around? And feminine energy is a pretty girl who struts around? What is it?
So, of all the reading and research that I've done, I don't like that we call it masculine, feminine energy, because then, yes,
Okay.
I don't like that it's called that.
She started schooling us right
Because
away.
no, I'm just giving my opinion, okay?
Got it.
And you guys can disagree and you can chime in, because feminine and masculine, when you hear those words, automatically, where does your mind go to?
What I just said, like masculine, you
Man
think
and
of
woman.
man,
Right.
feminine,
Gender.
girls.
You think of gender. You think, oh, feminine, that's for women. Masculine, that's for men. However, regardless of how you identify yourself, we all have both energies within us. In fact, every living thing has both energies within them. So when
So
you
do you like it again?
Hmm?
Why don't you like it that
I don't like it
that is referred
because
to as that?
whether you're a man or a woman, you have both of those energies within you. So
Okay.
let's say you think of yourself as a manly man. You'll be like, I'm full of masculine energy. What are you talking about? I don't have no feminine energy. You know what I mean? But once
Too
we
bad for
break
you,
it down,
dude.
right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like the fact that it's named masculine or feminine, because it kind of makes it seem like, oh, the men have masculine energy and the women have feminine energy. Where in a sense, again, we all have both, or have the capacity to have both, right?
No, we have both. We have both. I don't know about capacity to have both.
Okay.
I think we all, like you just said, not just
Stronger in
humans.
one than the other.
Yes. So like not just humans, even animals, and probably plants, living organisms. But
Living,
let's just say we're humans, we're gonna do humans, right?
Mhm.
So both male and females both have the masculine energy and the feminine energies, right? We both
Right. So
have it.
when you say that, let's tell people what that is. What is masculine energy?
So I like to think of it right away. Just remember how you said I don't like it, just because when you hear it, you think it's just
Associated with a man.
traits of the different, like man or woman. So we have the masculine and the feminine. The same way, for example, we have two sides of our body, right? We have the left side, we have the right side, and we have left eye, right eye, left profile, right profile. From the human body perspective, the left side is an energy, and then the right side is another energy. So the feminine energy is considered to be identified with the left side, right? And then the masculine energy is identified with the right side.
Correct.
Correct. So what is masculine and feminine energy?
Okay, what I pulled from our BFF Google
Mhm.
is masculine energy is about doing, it's action oriented. So taking action, being assertive, confidence, logic, rational thinking, anything that has to do with taking risks. So it's an outwardly energy, right? And then the feminine energy is about being. It's about intuition, creativity. It's an inward sort of energy, heart centered, compassionate, forgiving, collaborative, reflective. So when you hear those descriptions, those are traits that both men and women and others can identify with.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yep, go
That's
ahead.
what it brought me back to the thought where I was talking and I lost the thought. Like you said, we both have both male and female, right? Both men and women, we all have feminine and masculine energy. We have the both sides, and then part is like maybe one of them just have less than the other.
Mhm.
I think it's again not about having less, is they
What you
they
tap
work,
into.
yeah, you tap into more to one than the other. You work you're balanced actually I know we always sound like we're repeating ourselves, but it comes down to the whole balance of your left side and your right side, your left brain and your right brain. It's that balance that you have when you like let's say if you're in alignment, if you're in balance, you can tap into your feminine energy, and you can also tap into your masculine energy. So therefore a woman can have a lot of masculine energy. That does not mean she doesn't have any feminine energy. It means she actually needs to tap into her feminine energy, so she can we should all be able to tap into both our energy so we can be more in a balance.
Yeah, so later on in the podcast, I do have an article that I found, which I think it does a really great job with explaining balancing masculine and feminine energies. I'll give a little overview of it and then we'll also link it, but I want to kind of touch on that later on. I want to first, huh?
I said cool because I was like, now you should have a quiz for us.
I wish I had a quiz because it breaks down to like it says there's 4 divine energy types. So I really like that, how they explain the energies and what you can do to balance them. But before we get there, I want to hear from you ladies. So we kind of gave an overview of what each one of these energies are. So thinking of yourselves, let's talk about right now. Do you feel right now that you are more in your feminine energy or more in your masculine energy? Or do you feel like you have a good balance of both?
I would say me right now, I have more of like an overactive feminine energy
Okay.
because I think if I'm remembering it, feminine energy is like more of your feelings, intuition, and you like, it's not that you're selfless, but like,
You mean selfish?
no, like not like you don't know your self-worth. You think more about others, helping others, doing for others, mothering more
Nurturing.
than
Mhm.
and versus the masculine energy, which is a more protective energy, right?
Protective, going out, achieving your goals, like, you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
kind of
more of
ambition.
like a self-interest energy as well. I
I
know they
mean,
use that word with
it could,
masculine.
yeah, it could be self-interest, but a lot of times you're doing it for the well-being of your family. Like a man who provides, who protects, you know what I'm saying? Like he may be in his masculine energy, but he's doing it for his family.
No, which is fine. Which a woman can also do that. More women many women do that.
Okay, I said man, but it could be a
Yeah,
woman that's out there,
exactly.
you know what I
So
mean?
me, I would think right now it's more of well, maybe I want it to be more of a feminine energy because I've had many years of my life that I needed to work on that masculine energy. I needed to be the provider. I needed to like have my logics down, my facts, and take care of. Versus now, I'm more like, no, I'm gonna go within, tap into my feminine energy. Like even things simple like dress cute, be more. Don't be so hard. Don't say things have to be a certain way because it has to be. Not so logic. I'm more relaxed in a sense. So I think feminine for me.
Okay, Claudia.
I don't know. I think I have both right now. I can relate to the masculine energy where you providing and
and making a plan and, trying to keep everything together. And then I also can relate to the feminine energy where you feel vulnerable and working on your goal and being driven.
So you think you're doing like you're balancing both. When you think of a day, you're spending half your day tapped into your feminine and half your day tapped into your masculine.
Yes.
Okay. For me, I think right now I am in my feminine energy. Clearly, with all my retrogrades. No, I'm serious. Yeah, I've been going within a lot. Not to say that in the past I was not a person that went within, but I think younger me was a lot more, not that I'm not now, but it was a lot more of like setting up my life. You know what I mean? Like setting up my career, getting my family structure down. So really like getting my degree, like school, like boom, 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 like doing the things that are very outwardly to make sure that I was independent and able to take care of myself. Now, I'm more into like woo-woo stuff and chakras.
Why you say woo-woo?
Because it's woo-woo stuff, like spirituality, what else? Astrology, personal development, all that stuff is very
taking care of
feminine.
plants and
Plants,
making sure
nurturing children. I think like once I had my kids is when I started being a lot more of my femininity. You guys hear that dog barking?
he's so cute.
He's so annoying. I don't know who he's barking at outside, but ain't nobody here for him. So
That's the masculine energy talking.
He definitely has.
No, you.
No, that is too. That's his masculine energy that he does not control.
Yeah, he's very aggressive. Well, no, masculine energy doesn't mean aggressive. So,
well, here's the thing. So, remember how you said you feel like you have an over, like a lot of feminine energy, maybe too much?
Overactive, because I'm saying overactive because I think it's too much. Yeah. Like
which the article that I was reading again that I'll link, it says like if you have too much feminine energy, for instance, because feminine energy is about going within feelings, right? If you have an imbalance in that, for instance, you're an empath, right? You guys know what that is. An empath is a person who can like really feel other people's energies. You become sort of like a sponge for, how other people are feeling, and you relate to them, and if someone's crying, you cry, you know what I mean? Like you're an empath, and that it could be an imbalance with your feminine energy, and that could be too much. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like there is that too much of it. And on the masculine side, you have those men that don't tap into their feminine energy, or don't believe they have feminine energy, or don't want to associate themselves with feminine energy. And so they become overly masculine, and now they don't know how to, that's what I'm looking for.
Go within.
Not go within, but like, okay, like like they don't know how to acknowledge their woman's, like, let's say it's a married couple and the husband has too much masculine energy. If the woman is feeling a certain way, he's not gonna be able to relate to that because he can't tap into his own feelings. How is he gonna be able to relate to his wife's feelings? He's gonna approach the situation from a logical standpoint and just see it as black and white, where we as women don't see things, or those of us that are tapped into our feminine energy, we don't see everything as black and white. A situation can have different viewpoints, and something can make me feel one way and not affect you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think a lot of times in society, and why relationships don't work, is because of that imbalance. You guys agree?
I agree. Oh, definitely.
And then too, Vanilla, you were saying like there was a point where you were in your masculine energy and you had to be the provider and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's I wouldn't say this is how I think about it, but there's people who think about it like women should not have to play that role.
Or women should not need to tap into that energy.
So I think you should still tap into that energy, because you're going to need confidence. You're going to need assertiveness. You're going to need all those things that the masculine energy gives you. But in terms of like being a provider and You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
doing things that maybe the masculine person in the relationship should be doing. Is it? Do you think that's fair for women to have
It
to take
what
on those roles?
I don't think it's fair to say that women should not be the provider or show the masculine side of themselves. I don't think that's fair.
I don't think I'm wording it right, but do you feel like you had to tap into that energy because
Of the situation you were
the
in.
situation you were in by choice, or
Well, yeah.
were you taking too much of that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I think it was just something that came in. Like, for example, when it comes to relationships, sometimes you start dating or well, some pertain to you because you've been married for decades. But
that's
I'm
what I'm
saying,
trying to
yeah.
understand because
But
I've been
like,
out the game for
let's say when
years,
you're
girl.
like dating, getting to know people, you may come forward like, I'm a woman. I work hard to get what I need to provide for myself. You come with that energy that says you're stable and you do what you got
Okay,
to do to get what you
question
need.
though, is that what men want? Because remember that the man is supposed to bring that quote unquote supposed to. This is society's
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
perception. The man, as the default masculine person, is supposed to bring that energy that they can provide, that they can take care of, that they can protect. You think they are going to want a woman that has that same quality? Is that what they're looking for?
What
Um,
to hear say.
it's well, me personally, I have not a hard time because I'm not trying, but I don't really attract those men that's like, no, you're staying home and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna provide. I would like to attract one, but
Well,
I haven't attracted a
well,
man like
could it
that.
okay, when you say that, could it be that you're coming into those relationships with that masculine energy? So
My
maybe
point, yes. So I think
yes.
going into dating and stuff, me coming with that energy, there was issues because there was a guy that was thinking like, okay, she's coming all up front, like, like almost like you don't really need me or whatever. I don't
Mhm.
know.
No, I know
But
what you're saying because again, remember one energy balances the other. So in order for two people to come together, even though within yourself you have both, as a couple, you also have an exchange of that energy, right? So if the woman's bringing more of that masculine energy, then she's going to attract more of
mhm.
that male that has that feminine energy. And I think that from again, I've been out of the dating game for a long time, so I can't really speak to this, but this is just stuff that I'm seeing and hearing ever since we decided we want to talk about feminine and masculine energy. You know how the algorithm works on social media, it's
Yeah.
sending me all of this stuff. So, there's this thing out there where women have to be independent, women have to provide for themselves. And so over the years, women have kind of, which is great in a sense, we're independent, we can do for ourselves. But then again, is it hindering us on that aspect of attracting men that can actually play that dominant masculine role? So a lot of these women are not being able to tap into their feminine
Feminine.
energy. So then, of course, you're going to attract a man that's more feminine because, and I'm using
'Cause you
feminine
need that
too.
balance.
Right. I don't want people to think I'm saying feminine in the sense of what we associate feminine, like a feminine person with.
We're
I'm
strictly
saying
talking the energy.
the
The energy,
traits
yeah.
that feminine energy brings. So you're coming to the dating world with this overly masculine energy. Law of attraction, the universe is going to bring you a man that doesn't have that energy because for that to kind of mix, you need more feminine. But then we're like, well, I don't understand what's going on, why this guy isn't providing, why this guy isn't, you know what I mean? Because we're giving off that energy. So of course what's coming back to us is the opposite of that.
Could be, yeah.
Mhm.
But then
Yeah.
when you put the message out there of like, okay, women need to be more feminine, women need to tap into their feminine traits because we have this feminine and masculine associated with gender. It's like we're telling women to be soft, to not be independent. You know what I mean? It's almost like mixed messaging because of how we view masculine energy, feminine energy.
Yeah. So, like anything, a good understanding of what exactly the feminine energy is and the masculine energy, and being able to separate it from physical traits or,
Gender related.
Mhm.
yeah, we'll be able to, tap in better into those two different energies that we all have. Claudia has an answer though about,
Why are you picking
did
on
you?
Cardi for?
Nah, I just want to talk. I said you have, but you did. You said you use both, I think.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
said right now I'm feeling like I'm both of them. But I agree with Naya what she's saying. It's a once you are in an energy,
Exchange.
it's so hard to get out of it. I can play the role of the masculine energy with no problem. Like no problem. For years of doing it, to being the provider, the protector, the goal giver person, the person that has goals, the person that has to come through with everything, because being a single parent, that was me. I had to be the masculine and the feminine. The feminine side of me is less shown to the world. Like
But Claudia,
she's
with you, I think it's even before you became a parent. Now that I think I understand a little bit more about the feminine and the masculine energy, you naturally tapped in or showed more of your masculine energy. For example, we were out as a group. Claudia would have the tendency to be the protector, and she let us all know, nope, nothing's gonna go down. I'm here for you. I got your back. You know what I mean? So that's all
mm,
masculine energy. Is it
Mhm.
traits the word, or masculine
traits.
energies?
Masculine traits. Yeah, you could say masculine traits.
Yeah, and then we have friends, of course, that are more like, "Oh, come over, we'll do pedicures, or
Mhm.
I'll do your hair, and we'll get facial massages." You know what I mean? To me,
Mhm.
that's somebody who's more into the nurture. As when I think nurturing, I think more feminine. You remember when
Well,
protective,
yeah, it
I
is.
think masculine. So I think it's something that we're probably born with. We just, when you're even fire signs. Now I'm gonna go back there. You're
Mm,
not gonna.
Fire and
It's
air.
so fire and air.
They're masculine signs.
Oh, I didn't go that deep,
Water,
but I know
water
for
and
sure
earth
that,
are
like,
feminine.
yeah,
Yeah.
for example, you're born into a fire sign, so that easy or naturally more inclined to
yeah.
have,
Mhm.
to be more tapped into your
Be
masculine
present more.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my feminine's is a work in progress. I do remind myself you have to be
No,
more
and like you
gentle.
said, I think you tapped it more into your feminine after you did have a baby, obviously, because
Mhm.
you had to become a mama. You were a mama, you were nurturing, you had to take care, and then you had things that happen in life that kind of shakes you into it. You know what I mean? Like having a newborn, you automatically tap into things that your that whole intuition that we're about.
Right.
Now you're intuitive, your mom, and things like that.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I could be really soft. I mean, not to put it in a negative way, but like I
it's
think it
not. It's the
comes,
most divine energy.
but like
It's the
it's really
feminine.
hard to when that part of you again leaves you vulnerable. That is, I think that is the reason why a lot of women now don't tap into it more, and even males have figured it out. I have that side of me, but it leaves me vulnerable because you are subject to feel more. When you are in that energy, like you guys are saying, you're highly in that. When you feel more, you hurt more. So when you're focusing on the other energy, there's like you're literally the person who's stopping the feelings to be black and white. Like this is what it is. Like you really should not be feeling this because it's black and white. But when you're in that energy, you feel it and it hurts, and then you don't know what to do. You get lost if you don't have good people around you, and you're in that energy. How do you get out of it? How do you feel that this is
Yeah.
supposed to happen? How is
And
it
I
supposed to
think
be positive?
Yeah, and I think it's because we run away from our feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, Claudia, it hurts. But when you have that balance between both, you know that the masculine brings in that logic. So you need that feelings. Like the thing is like we need that first, right? But we can't stay in it. That's our problem as women or people who are highly feminine is we stay in our feelings too long. Where that masculine energy comes in and says, "Okay, you're feeling this. Feel it,
Mhm.
okay? But we need to get through these feelings." And then you start to incorporate that logic in there. And I don't think we have the tools to be able to make that switch or to allow both of those energies to work together, as opposed to because I'm a
Against.
woman, I'm a feeling person, I'm just going to be stuck in my feelings. Like
Right.
Yeah.
you
Which
need
you ladies are right on point, especially because, like, but there are tools, there are things we can do to tap into these energies and balance these energies, right? When you're working with your feminine energy, let's say you're too much into you think, oh, I'm too sensitive, I'm too much. You feel like you're too much, like Claudia was pointing out, she was too much tapped into her feminine energy and that left her vulnerable. Exactly. So that's what you need to realize is those wounds, right? Things happen to you for you to forget that you have that masculine energy, that you have the drive to get up and go and try again. Do you have the strength to get the things you want in life. And you stay in your emotions, you stay in that feminine energy because you're not doing the work, which is simple. It literally is simple. It's taking time for yourself. It's looking in the mirror, it's going within and saying, figuring out what is happening. What is happening that has me so stuck in my feelings? So what is happening to have me so stuck in this energy, like your feminine energy that's not coming out as divine as it should be? And in that way, your feminine energy is being very like sad in a way, or not balanced, not nourished. So that's when you're crying, you're in your feelings. That's like, so you have positive feminine energy and negative feminine energy. Same thing with the masculine, right? You could have a man who is so
Overly
much
masculine.
overly masculine energy that is like, tells his wife, you cannot go to work, you cannot wear this, you cannot do that. When I come home, my food is cooked. I don't know, whatever when it's overly, right? So going within, figuring out what your wounds are, figuring out what's the pattern. Like you said, things hurt you, so now you feel like you're stuck. Figuring that out and tapping into it, that is going to help you tap into your masculine energy. It's going to help you say, okay, I have the strength, I have the drive, I have the will to get out of this feeling and do what I got to do. Am I making sense?
No, you're making sense. And then, like, part of the information I found is there's ways that you can, like, let's say you are in your feminine energy and you feel like you're in it too much. There's ways that or things that you can do to increase your masculine energy. And some of them are change the way you talk to yourself. Okay.
Give an
Another one.
example.
So like,
So
instead
you're
of saying,
saying our feminine energy is a little bit too much, if that's
yeah, let's
possible.
say,
So when
okay,
you talk to yourself,
yeah, let's say you're too much in your feelings, you're like,
mhm,
you're an empath and you can't get out of this in your
mhm,
feeling state to make
okay,
decisions and actually get up and take action. You can start by changing the way you talk to yourself rather than saying, "Oh, I'm so sad today," or "My heart is broken." You know what I mean?
mm,
You just shift it, right? You just
yeah.
shift it and you say, even
Look
though
in the
I'm
mirror
going,
and say, I'm so
yeah.
caring. I'm going through this because I care a lot,
Mhm.
right?
And it's temporary. Each day is getting better, like saying things like that to yourself. Another one is spend less time overthinking and more time taking action. So, a lot of times, too, like as women, we don't go after opportunities as much as men do because men, they're all about taking action. Like, let's say a job opportunity comes up. I read somewhere where a man will apply for a job even if he doesn't have all the qualifications listed, whereas women will make sure they have every single qualification before applying because we overthink
Mhm,
things too much. You know what I mean? Like, just go for it. So spend less time overthinking and more time actually taking action. Own your mistakes and learn from them. Like you were saying, Vanilla, like, you're feeling these wounds because or you're in these situations, or if you feel like I'm always attracting the same men, you know what I mean? Like, own up to what is it that I'm doing in this situation that's bringing this energy into my life.
mhm,
So those are just a few ways to, if you feel like you're overly in your feminine energy, to kind of shift and balance a little bit. Again, if you're a woman, and anybody, I keep saying woman, but I just mean if you're in your masculine energy and you want to tap more into your feminine energy, again, it's going to be a lot of like self-care, reclaiming rest, journaling. That's another excellent way to like get in tune with yourself, get in touch with your dreams. You know me and dreams because
I
our
can't even
dreams.
remember mine.
Well, you girl, we need to get you on your dreams
that's
because
that masculine energy, Claudia.
I
it
can't,
really
I'm
is.
honest.
It really is. And when we talk about sleep and dreams, you will start to understand like when you dream and why you dream. And dreams are tied to our emotion. So when we're in touch with our dreams, we might not remember every single thing about our dream, but if you can tap into the feeling you had in your dream, that can help you to tap more into your feminine energy. Tapping into your intuition, again, something we all have, but because we're so in our masculine that we don't take the time to listen to what our gut has to say and, just be in tune with ourselves to ensure that we're making the right decisions. And then going within before making any outwardly action. So it kind of ties back to that intuition as well. But yeah, those are some things to do.
Some pointers to help you tap into. Either one, right? Your feminine or your masculine energy, depending
Yeah, you have
on
to
what you
first
think
you have
you
more or
lack
less
of.
of.
Yeah.
So again, I'll link the article, but it's called Balancing Your Feminine and Masculine Energies. And of course, they describe what each one is. So the masculine is more assertive, more dominant, where the feminine is more intuitive and caring. And then it breaks down the energies into 4 divine energy types. They start by going into the yin and yang. I know Vanilla will appreciate that.
Mhm.
So the yin is the feminine energy, and the yang is the masculine energy. So there are 4 types is greater yin. So this is about as feminine as it gets. This energy is associated with stillness, nighttime, intuition, creativity, feelings, and senses. So it tells you, what to look out for in yourself to determine if this is you. What are some strengths with being this like really in your feminine energy? And then when it's imbalanced, which I mentioned before, is those of us that can sometimes be empaths and just being in that sort of in your emotions all the time can become isolating and lonely, and you tend to stay in unhealthy relationships for too long. So then you would want to look into ways to bring more masculine energy. So that's someone who has a really excessive amount of feminine energy. It also gives some tools for balancing, and they suggest like meditating, journaling, sleeping, napping, taking time for yourself. So set time aside to feel your feelings, cry if you need to cry. So just working your way through them rather than just sitting in those feelings. And then there's those that have a lesser yin. This person is a little bit more fluid, and it says composition ranges from 60 to 80% yin and 20 to 40% yang. So I would say like a healthy feminine woman would probably fall into this category, right? For people like
Oh, a
this, you
healthy
create
feminine person.
person. Yes, that's the
Okay.
safe. You create a safe space everywhere you go. You're very fluid with your feelings. You'll often advocate for those who aren't advocating for themselves. So you stand up for other people. So you got a good balance of both, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even though this might be you overall, imbalances can always show up. It says here, rolling with the punches is rad for as long as you're making your life easier. But if it leads to too much self-sacrificing, so it can go back to like you're sacrificing yourself to save or help other people. And that's something we talked about, remember, Claudia, in our
Earlier.
burnout episode, where even though you might be pretty good with balancing both, there are times where you might have that imbalance, such as when you're, giving too much for others rather than yourself. So again, they provide some tools to kind of get yourself back to that balance. I'm not gonna this is kind of long, so I'm not gonna read through everything. And then we shift to the lesser yang. So now this is you're moving more towards people who have a more dominant masculine energy. So 60 to 80% masculine, and then 20 to 40 feminine. So this type is a little bit more extroverted, active, and dominant, with a tendency to move through life at a faster pace. And I think this is where a lot of women are like falling into the modern woman, right? Because we are, being more independent. There's more single moms out there, so you're playing the role of both mother and father, so you're leaning more into your masculine than maybe your feminine. Where it can be imbalanced is if you're not using your energy wisely, it can turn against you. You might start to feel like you're trapped, stuck, or anxious. So if ever you're feeling those feelings, it could be that you're more in that masculine and need to kind of balance yourself out. And then the last one is a greater yang. So this is where you're literally just probably like 90.
The man, the
The
person
man
who does not believe in
that I have any
being sweet and
femininity.
feminine. Yeah.
So it says if this is you, then you're a boss and you know it. And hey, women, there's a lot of women out there
That are bosses. Yeah.
That cannot tap into their feminine energy
you're like,
whatsoever.
yeah, you're a natural leader. You're good at problem solving. Think big, you dream big.
There's a lot
You're
of women
good
that
at
go home and be like, they might have 5 kids, but the kids are not running to them like, "Hey, mommy, I fell down," or "Mom, I have a question." No, because they just possess that strong masculine energy, that the kids will run to the dad who might possess that
And
feminine
again,
energy,
Feminine energy.
right?
that could be fine if again that relationship is there
Hmm.
and they both know the role that they play and they're both comfortable in that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like there's
Relationship
no right
wise,
or
it
wrong.
can work if there's a balance, but self wise, you want to be able to balance those energies. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, a relationship is one thing. And then living with yourself, being authentic within who you are, is learning to balance that energy, because it should be balanced so you can live a productive, lovely life,
Yeah,
you
again,
know?
go back to that. Yeah, the relationship is its own thing,
Hmm.
separate from
Your identity,
who
like
you
who
are.
you
And
are.
I think that is a very, very important message because a lot of times when people get into relationships, and I'll just say, especially as women, we lose ourselves to the relationship, right? The
To the marriage,
relationship,
to the children, you lose who you
yes,
are. You become them, and you're like, "Who am I?" And the end of the you're like, "Who is this person? I don't know this person." And looking in the mirror, we look at it every day, or him. Like it goes vice versa for men and women in a relationship. You tend to lose who you are. So remind yourself that you need both those energy, and you need to be happy with who you are.
yeah. And I think a lot of people don't understand this idea of both these energies. And when you're a woman who loses yourself in a relationship, then I feel like you become so in your feminine energy that you don't take any action. Like you're like lost. You know what I mean?
But sometimes I think too,
Overbearing.
I think too, it's just like instincts, or like your upbringing, or even your subconscious. It's it's instincts, like things that you were raised, or like born and raised, maybe with a very
Culture.
feminine mother nurture, and then don't know how to tap in if you probably never had
A
a
male
father or a mom
figure.
who didn't show her masculine energy, you know?
So do you think, okay, that's interesting. Do you think children will grow up to lean into one more than the other based on their caregivers?
I
Like,
think
let's say
so.
your
Like,
caregiver was more feminine. Do you then lean into your masculine or do you lean into your feminine?
I think it'd be
What
more feminine if
if
you're surrounded by that. I know a lot of males who are raised by solely their mothers and very little male, like, because again, society uses that energy as male and female, and their energy are very feminine. They
mhm.
are into a lot of the things that I'm into as a woman when I'm in that state, and then but yet we can have that masculine conversation as well, and I'm like, and then we look at each other, we're like, oh, we're so balanced because like we can have the feminine conversation and we can have the masculine, like we're talking about masculine again for society, like the
Mhm.
sports and this, and then let's do this, let's move in, let's have this goal, the
But I
feminine.
mean, it is masculine. It's not
Yes,
just a societal view. It is a masculine trait to
but yeah,
like
I
those
think if
Mhm.
things.
you are raised with more than one, you probably will have that. But again, like Vanilla said, you have that based on your signs
Mhm.
of birth and things like that. So which one you're gonna have more of at certain times? I think it happens in certain lifetime. What's going on with your life, you feel more of that. If you're aware, you could say that was a feminine. I'm into my feminine, and if you're not aware of it, you're not going to be able to know. You're just gonna be like, I'm so emotional lately. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I see it now. Like that we're talking about it. I'm like, oh snaps! Like I have a lot of people who would never say that's a feminine energy. I feel so emotional. I was like, well, no, you can't feel this motion. Like that's so that you don't put those labels in them when you're going through them. But that's pretty much what it is. We have phases where one is stronger than the other. And then the key thing is to have both, I guess, both running at the same time, like
I think
having
it's
both.
knowing when to tap into what.
Right.
And I feel like you should use both for all your situations. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if you have to make an important decision, you're not just going to make the decision. You have to go
Yeah.
within first. You have to tap into yourself, tap into
Mhm.
your intuition. You know what I mean? That's all that's all feminine first. And then based on that information you gather from within yourself, then you take the action. When you don't have that balance, let's say you're all in your masculine, you just do it, right? You just do it.
That's it. It's done.
And you don't think of the consequences. You don't think of any of that. You just do it. When you're too much in your feminine, then
Don't do it at all.
you just think and overthink, and you're thinking about it, feeling it, and you procrastinate. You know what I mean? You never end up taking an action. So I think it's not a matter of during this time I should be more in my feminine, and during this time in my life I should be more in my masculine. I think it's knowing when to switch them on and off. And because we're not taught these things, going back to so many other things that we talk about here on this podcast, that we are not taught these things.
Yep.
We don't know this, and we don't know how to navigate the world. And we're, again, seeing a lot of imbalances in society. And we are living in a patriotic world that is slowly turning and will become a feminine matriarch society once again, because that is how we thrive as a people. We see all this craziness going on in the world because of all this masculine energy that's being displayed, not just by men, but by women as well. And we're not giving the feminine energy the credit that it deserves. Like, it's not like feminine energy is not up here with masculine energy. Like, they're not equal. Like, society is going to view the masculine energy as the dominant energy, and feminine as the weak, the lesser. And that's our problem. Like, we're not using feminine energy to its potential.
Yeah, it is clearly clear that the world is masculinely dominated.
Wars, money,
No
fame.
love, no nature, no caring, no going within, no empathy.
How can we get better and
Well,
more?
we're shifting that. We are.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's going to take, but we have to keep doing the work that we've been doing, spreading the messages that we've been spreading, and hopefully person by person, I know it's not easy, like just dealing with it in my own home. I can speak from experience, just trying to have these conversations with my husband, who is, to me, a masculine man. It's hard to for our relationship to be balanced. In a lot of ways it is, I have to say, but that's because I had to tap a lot into my feminine, and then, he continues to be on his masculine, you know what I'm saying? So there's our balance right there.
Or guiding him to tap more into his feminine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he has to, because there's a lot of feminine energy in that house.
There is, but again, we have masculine too. Like, we've balanced it for the most part.
And good thing, I think you, when it comes to your son, though, I can notice that he's a caring, lovely, sweet boy. So he does have that, nurturing side of him.
And
but
then
you're right.
My oldest is very, I don't know why she's so very masculine energy, even though she's very, all her signs are earth for the most part. She does have one air sign, but yeah.
Is she not is she not caring? No.
You can't touch her. You can't give her any hugs or kisses. She's not very touchy-feely.
When I see I'm all like,
but she's very nurturing. Because she's the oldest, she's always taking care of her siblings.
It's an instinct for her.
Because she does have those qualities, but how she expresses herself is more masculine. You know what I mean? But yeah, so again, even within the home, you know what I mean? It's not easy. Now imagine trying to do that on a global scale to get us as a people of this planet on the same page and, working together and working for the greater good. That's a huge challenge that's going to take years and years and years and years, but we can't become discouraged. We have to continue to do the work, push forward. Yeah.
So Naya, what would you say, why is it important for a man a man specifically to understand his feminine side and tap into it? Why is it important for you?
Why is it important? Because I feel like men, as they get older, they tap more into their feminine. And I feel like, again, this could just be my perception, I could be talking out my ass, that when they get to that older age, they kind of look back on their lives with a little bit of regret, as if they should have tapped into it sooner in life. I feel like, and that could be with anybody. As you get older, you kind of get more wisdom, you understand life more, and you realize the mistakes that you made. I feel like if a man is not tapped into his feminine energy, he has a harder time with his partner because they're not on the same page.
Like what?
Or if he doesn't, like, because a woman is going to naturally be more in their feelings. And if a man is not tapped into his feminine energy, he's not going to understand his woman, and they're always going to be at odds with each other. And if you are a man who is not in a relationship and you want to be in a relationship, you might attract women because that masculine energy is what's going to attract the woman to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to be able to keep her happy because, again, you're not going to be able to relate to her when she needs you most. And that goes to, the women in their lives, and that goes to their children as well. You know what I mean? Especially a father with his daughter. The more tapped into his feminine energy, the more he can relate to her, the more she can feel safe with him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be so in your feminine energy that like you guys are painting each other's nails and you're like doing facials and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But to the point that she feels safe coming to you and that you're not going to dismiss her feelings. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing with men who are not tapped into their feminine energy, is that they dismiss other people's feelings and they don't think feelings are important. Like, feelings don't matter, where feelings are what helps us to make good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And then definitely, yeah. And in a relationship, a man who can tap into their feminine, I think they're just more romantic, and that automatically makes the
True.
woman be more loving and better overall for you as well. It's okay to have a man who's nurturing and protect you, but like, if you're not sweet, it really sucks, right? I don't care how much money you have in the bank. I don't care what you give me. I don't care that you're a protector. If you don't tap into your feminine energy a little, or 50%, I don't know.
No, I don't think 50 is
the balance is tough.
necessary. Right.
Well, that would be ideal. That would be like,
So that's
perfect
why you think it's
harmony.
important for a man to tap into his feminine energy, because it makes him sweet.
Yeah, it makes them keep like a little. When you talk about relationship wise as well, it keeps that spark in a woman. Me as a woman, I don't just want a man. I don't want a man who does not have any feminine energy or can't tap into his feminine energy.
Agree.
So that's why I think it's very important for a man to tap into. I'm sure there's more reasons, because it's good for himself to be in harmony with life, to live a well life. A man and a woman should definitely tap into both, balance both. But we were brought up in a society, or even our culture, like there's no such thing as feminine energy and masculine energy, right? There's none of that. I bet you our parents till this day, when I could go to my mother with this and be like, what are you talking about? Women have feminine energy and men have masculine energy.
That's what I'm
probably what it is.
saying.
Even though she has so much strong masculine energy, she still would not know what that means or believe that that's what it is,
Mm-hmm.
And it's harder. I saw growing up, it's harder for my mother to not keep a boyfriend, wanting to stay with a partner because of her masculine energy. Because she's like, chop, chop,
Do you think it's her choosing to not be with them, or them being like, okay, I can't take this woman with all this
she can't. From what I remember, she can't take the feminine ones.
It's like her that cannot tap into her feminine energy. It's her that has a hard time tapping into her feminine energy, and then that also brings expectations that she has a hard time tapping into her feminine energy, and then brings the expectation that a man has to bring the masculine energy.
So too masculine.
So girl, what are you doing, lady?
That ain't gonna work.
Exactly. So what you doing?
Like, he's too soft.
Or if there was a man who brings, no, she has issues with men. Sorry, mama, I'm like, she has issues with men who brings too much of a feminine energy. Obviously, because she expects men to come with that negative energy. She has a lot of hard time with men who come up with the feminine energy. She's done with them. You know what I mean? It's like, it would have been a perfect balance, because you have that strong masculine. Let the dude come in with the strong feminine.
Because I feel like, knowing what she's been through in her life, she had to step into that masculine energy.
Again, definitely.
Not by choice, but now that she's been there for so many years, that's where her comfort is.
Mhm.
You know, it
Correct.
doesn't necessarily mean subconsciously she wants to be feminine. I mean, what woman doesn't want to be feminine? You know what I mean? Like, it is in our nature as women, we birth like all those traits classify who we are as
Absolutely,
women.
yeah.
Even if it's a little bit of femininity, I don't care who you are, you're gonna want to tap into that. But
If you're a woman who
identifies as a woman.
identifies as a
Um,
woman.
she's was forced to be in that masculine energy and then got comfortable in it
Mm-hmm.
and now doesn't know what it's like to be in her feminine, which a lot of women, that's why I said a lot of modern women who are forced to be single parents, raise children on their own, they're automatically put into that masculine energy. Like, there's no way around it. You have to be the provider. Like,
You tapped into it, now you're there.
you're
Yeah.
not sharing the load. Even if, you know what I mean, like, even if you do work, but if you have a partner, you don't have to be in that feminine, that masculine energy, because you have a balancing partner. You know what I mean? But nowadays, with all of the women who are single parents, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, how do you find that balance when you're raising a child or children by yourself?
It's by making some time for yourself, tapping into yourself, leave the babies alone, take a bubble bath, journal, like Naya mentioned, and really figure out what it is in your life that happened or is happening that keeps you in that loop of just feeling that you need to always be in that masculine energy, the provider. Having babies does not mean that, but we automatically, because
And
things happen, we automatically think it is.
And it's okay to be a single parent and be that provider, but still know that you have your feminine side and don't neglect your feminine side, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say because you're a single parent, you should look to find a partner, you should have a man. No, but don't lose sight of your feminine side because you're forced into that role. And we do because we are not taught these things. So going back to that, we're just in this cycle of, men have too much masculine energy, and now women are leaning more towards that masculine energy, and that's how we've become a very masculine dominated society.
Yep. It's definitely not just the man's fault, right?
It's all our faults.
It's
Not
all our
fault. We can't put blame. It's
it's
what we've inherited because we all came to this earth and found this here. You know what I mean? It's what we inherited. So what are we gonna do now to make sure that it's a little better in the future?
Was that a question?
No, it's a
I
not
know.
really. But the question you asked me, can you ask Claudia that question?
Answer the question, Claudia.
I want to answer the
You
question.
want me to ask her the
Why is
same
it
one? Why is it
important for a man to be in touch with his feminine side? And this is heterosexual men we're speaking of.
Yeah. I think it's easier to talk to someone who is tapped into their intuition, like their inner self, so you can relate more with someone. So you're truly getting the true person. You're not getting the person that's the go-getter, because you're always going to see that masculine first, I think, in a lot of people, because you will see how they're career oriented or how they go-getters and making plans for their futures. Like, you can hear, like, this is my plan, this is what I'm going to do. As a 16, I knew I wanted to be this and da 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 da. So you can always hear that. But when someone's talking within their feelings about the things that they like to do, the things that make them feel like they're a person, like they belong, is when you're tapping into that feminine energy. So if a man can have that conversation with a woman and be genuine, you are genuinely speaking to the woman, not the masculine part of her, to the softer side of her. So you'll be able to relate to her more and put her at ease more when it comes to being in a relationship with you. So she will feel more comfortable opening up about her days, about her wants and her needs. And once you know when someone wants and their needs are, it's easier for the relationship to go. And it's the same thing with you. So if you're being that person and saying, oh, I need this and I need that, both of you will be able to understand each other, and hopefully it's the real person that you're talking to, instead of trying to fake it, like, oh yeah, I'm this person. No, but you, like, I'm really this person, this is who I am. Do you like it or not? If you don't like it, then find someone else. I think it would save a lot of heartbreaking
Period.
Yeah, it is. It's hard because we start dating young and we're not taught these things. We don't know how our feelings. And I know there are people that are so into the feminine and they get judged by it. The males that I know, there's a lot of males that are very sweet. I'm like, oh my God, he's so sweet.
When they say nice guys finish
Yeah, like
last,
so
that whole
nice. But
mentality.
right, but they're judged by like, he's like,
Judge,
Stop.
he can't do
classified.
anything for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, he can do a lot for you if you could just
See past that.
yeah, past that like it's a feminine thing and it's a girly thing. No, it's not. It's an energy that you need because when you come home from work and you had a day and you need that person to listen to you, that's that side of him. He's gonna come out. But that's why I think it's important. I think it'll be an equal balance and you can really get to know each other and grow. If not, you're always going to be fighting. Trust me, too masculine energy in the household. That's how it goes.
I mean, I think even if you're both balanced with your feminine and masculine, there's always going to be fighting because you're both two people with your own opinions. It's just what's coming of those fights. How are those fights happening? You know what I mean? Like, are you having a debate? Is it a discussion? Are you listening to each other? You know what I mean? That's the whole feminine that helps you respect the other person, even though you guys don't agree. So, do you think it's more important, or let me see, do you think it's more important for men to tap into their feminine or for women to tap into their masculine?
More important
Like, what has the biggest impact?
to be in balance with both.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
mean, that's
the ideal.
cutter. That's the cookie
We
cutter
can't. I think
answer.
that's a question that's hard because again, we're saying man and women, but
Right,
like
we're just
it's an
juxtaposition.
energy. So it's hard for us to say. For me, it's very hard to be like, what's more important for a man or a woman to tap into the specific energies. Just I can't answer that.
I mean, like, okay, looking at how we're structured as a society, what's gonna make the biggest impact?
I think
What
the
we
male-
need right now,
I
we
think
need
the
both.
males need to be more into their feminine energy because we've already proven it as a society that the females could be the role of like
Hinders.
rolling in masculine. Like we're there. Like we're women, masculine energy, full force. I need the man to be the softer to balance the world. So I think that at the time that we're in, I think we definitely need males to be more in the feminine energy than females going into our time that we're in. What do you think?
I don't know. I really think it's that doesn't
Well,
matter if you're a man and a woman. What we need
it's
is for
feminine energy.
everyone. It's for even us women.
I
We
was
need
just
to
gonna say
tap
that.
into
Women
feminine
need to-
energy. We need to
Yeah.
tap into our feminine energy. I think it's I think for a woman that's more important to tap into your feminine energy.
Yeah, I think it
You
needs to
know?
start with us women. And it's hard because over the years, women rights, right? We fought so hard to be seen as equals. You know what I mean? But I think it took a turn in order for a woman to be seen as equal with a man, she has to have equal amount of masculine energy. Where no, like you could be equal with a man with all of your divine feminine energy. You know what I mean? Like your traits as a feminine woman should be, viewed the same way, should be valued the same as a man's. It comes more naturally for a man to be masculine. So, okay, we'll give them that. But then, obviously same rights, be seen as equal when it comes to being people. But let's not discredit our feelings, our intuition, all the things that make us women, because all that is lacking. All of that has gotten us to where we are now. So I think women need to tap in. It's more important for a woman to tap into her feminine energy and kind of take back that narrative of, yes, we can be seen as equals and be feminine at the same time. I don't have to give up my femininity in order for you to view me as your equal.
Right.
And that's what a lot of women have done in order to be viewed as equal.
And that's why we're on the masculine side of society. So let's shift it. It's a movement, people. It's a movement.
Let's get this movement
It
going.
needs to be a movement, right?
That's right. Hashtag take back your feminine power.
For real. a point, because we always like our tips and our points. A way that we can do now is be more gentle with yourself, right?
Yeah, start with
Speaking
you.
to women, be more gentle. Take time to look in the mirror and talk to yourself. Like Naya said, talk to yourself in a different way, right? Positive way. Know your worth. Definitely listen to your body, right? Listen to your body. Like sometimes your body just needs to rest. Sometimes your body needs to get to the gym. Sometimes your body needs a vacation. So those are all good tips if you feel you need to tap into your feminine energy. Any tips if you feel you need to tap into your masculine energy, ladies? Let me see.
No, we've done too much of that.
I would
Yeah.
think no, come on. Let's
I'm
stick
just
to
kidding.
balance. And I would think maybe like
I'm kidding.
it would be to think of what it is, not in the sense of thinking within, but like think of what it is that you want for the future, right? Make decisions to make goals, set plans,
I think it's
stick to it.
yeah, accountability.
Yeah,
Like when you tell yourself you're
consistency.
gonna do something, actually do it. Like hold
Do
yourself
it.
accountable. That's
Because when
one
you're
thing about the
not, it's a
masculine energy.
sign that you're not tapping into it, right? Let's say you always
Yeah,
setting goals and plans, and then you're like, "Oh, I always give up on myself." Oh my God,
that's
it's
lack
because
of
you need
masculine
to
energy.
work on your masculine energy. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's not think that masculine energy is bad. It's just, use it to a certain capacity, like for discipline, for goals,
For
for
balancing,
taking
period.
action.
Use them the
Yeah,
same.
right.
One's gonna come, we figured it out. One's gonna come easier. Well, some of them were just born with it, and parts of it we are, like parts of it are instincts that we're born with. So parts of it is conditioned
Right.
because that's how we were raised. But it's important for you to know that you have both. It is important for you to work on balancing both those energies. Yes, today in society, we just agreed that we're lacking that feminine energy. The whole world knows this is a world dominant by
Man.
masculine energy. So yeah, let's work hard with when you change basically working to change in the world, right? Be the change. What's your favorite quote? Be the change you
Be
want
the
to
change.
see in the world. Is that your favorite quote?
It's one
Someone's
of
favorite quote.
it's one of them by Gandhi. Be
Be
the
the
Be
change
change
you
you want
wish
to
to see.
see in
hmm
the world. So
Uh,
for me, it starts with you. So start with that. Start with working and balancing your
yeah,
yin
and
and yang energy.
I would say dial it back just a little bit, like just find that awareness first. Like a lot of people are lost. They don't even know. They don't know. They don't know
Mhm.
what masculine energy is. They don't know what feminine energy is. They don't know what those traits are. And they don't know how to identify it in themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're
Right.
just lost souls sometimes, and that's okay. So I think just coming to that realization that you want to make a change, that you sense that things are not going the way you want them to go, take the time to reflect, right? That's using your feminine energy, being reflective. Take the time to reflect and really say, okay, what's not working for me? And what are the reasons why those things aren't working? And what control do I have over it?
And on the topic of masculine and feminine energy, a good tip would be to be gentle with who you are, be gentle with yourself, go within, listen to your body, listen to what it is that it needs. And
You said,
in the feminine side, it's being gentle to yourself, right?
mhm,
And then the masculine side can be something as be accountable with yourself, right?
right.
So having that balance will help you live a happier life, more in harmony. And now
Yeah,
that you
what
have good tips, we want you to share it with your friends and your family.
Yeah, I
So
always say like we need to first tap into feminine side and then use that intuition, that knowledge, that wisdom that we gained from our feminine side to then switch it to the masculine side because they support each other, right?
mhm.
And you don't want to be taking action and it not lead you where you want to be. So now you're going within to be like, okay, you're kind of working backwards. You know what I mean? So always go to the feminine first, but don't sit in that feminine for too long. Make sure you have a counteractive masculine trait to balance, like Vanilla was saying, go within, reflect, but then also have that accountability or that discipline once you know what it is inside of you, what you want, what you need to do, what you deserve. Have some type of masculine energy to help bring those desires and dreams and wants to life.
That's right.
That's my tip. What's your tip, Claudia?
I guess we're saying tips as far as tapping into those energies to try and balance that energy.
Like, what do you want to leave the people with today?
Well, I'm going to leave the people that I'm struggling myself. So.
Yes, we're all in this together, everyone. We are all
because
together.
it's really a masculine energy with me. I will always go for that first and then work with the feminine part because that's the part of me I tend to seek less. So I am working on seeking that more with things that's been going on in my life. I have realized that I don't allow people to care for me the way they need to. And I deserve it because I am the one who will give you the ultimate care you need because you need it. But I always feel like I can take care of myself, but I can't. And I need to really, in those areas, I really need to like have other people come into those emotions that I feel and work things out. So I do need people. People think I don't need them. And I tend to act like I don't need you. So if you're a friend, sorry.
Yeah, people don't think you don't need them. You let people know you don't need
tell
them.
them,
You know?
I
don't need you. It's not true. God does need you. It's just the masculine energy in me. It's always going to go for that, and then work inwards to why.
Yeah, and Claudia brings up a good point. Like, know where you're more dominant in, and where you could probably use some work. You know, to start there.
Start there. Yeah. Yes, that's great. That's the takeaway now here. Forget all that.
No, that's good. That's good.
The takeaway is know where
but
you
all
stand.
that was you tapping into your feminine energy, so that's good.
It was
The masculine
really
came out real quick, right?
What?
Don't see that side of me.
Yes, we need to see every side of each other. All right.
Any more good thriving tips? We good?
If you have any tips that you want to give us, please give us because we're all listening. We all want to
remember
learn.
Mother Nature is a great tool. Go for a hike.
She's a great
go
teacher
for a walk.
too.
Yep. She's definitely a great way to tap into divine feminine energy. And yeah.
All right. Let's wrap it up. Thank you everyone for listening. Follow us on social media. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating.
Yes.
Or Spotify too.
You cannot rate on Spotify.
Yes, you can. I was waiting for you to say that. Yes,
so
you
have
can.
you rated us on Spotify?
Probably. Are you gonna go check? Are you gonna go see that
I
we
use
can?
Apple, but yes, I'll definitely go check.
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
So
Apple,
leave us a rating. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's the only place where you can watch us and not just hear us. So find us there too. And yeah, thanks for listening. We will catch you here again next week.
Bye. Whoop whoop.
Peace out. Bye, ladies.
Bye.